According to the National Electrical Code, specifically Section 210.12, the correct interpretation for arc fault circuit interrupter, or AFCI, protection in bedrooms is that only receptacles are required to be on the AFCI circuit. To understand why, let's examine the definition of an outlet. The National Electrical Code Article 100 defines an outlet as a point in the wiring system from which current is taken to supply utilization equipment. Based on this definition, junction boxes and switches do not qualify as outlets. A switch is a controlled device that opens or closes a circuit. It doesn't supply utilization equipment directly with power. Similarly, a junction box is simply an enclosure used to join different runs of conductors. It's a point of connection and doesn't provide power to any device. Therefore, switches and junction boxes are not considered outlets as defined by the National Electrical Code. It's important to distinguish between outlets and other points in the wiring system like switches and junction boxes to apply the National Electrical Code requirements correctly. Now let's delve a little deeper into AFCI protection. AFCI circuit breakers are designed to detect arc faults, which are dangerous electrical conditions that can cause fires. These breakers trip the circuit when an arc fault is detected, preventing potential hazards. The National Electrical Code mandates AFCI protection in specific locations, like bedrooms, to enhance safety. The reason why receptacles are required to be on an AFCI circuit in bedrooms is that they are the most common points where appliances and other electrical devices are connected. This makes them more susceptible to arc faults. By protecting receptacles with AFCIs, the risk of electrical fires is significantly reduced. To further clarify, let's consider some practical examples. Firstly, imagine a scenario where a lamp is plugged into a receptacle in a bedroom. If the lamp's cord is frayed or damaged, it could create an arc fault. An AFCI circuit breaker would detect this arc fault and trip the circuit, cutting off the power and preventing a fire. Secondly, consider a situation where a vacuum cleaner is plugged into a bedroom receptacle. If the vacuum cleaner's motor malfunctions and causes an arc fault, the AFCI circuit breaker would again trip the circuit, preventing a potential hazard. Now, let's examine what would happen if switches and junction boxes were also required to be on AFCI circuits. Firstly, the cost of electrical installations would increase significantly, as more AFCI circuit breakers would be needed. Secondly, nuisance tripping could become more common, as switches and junction boxes are more prone to generating harmless arcs that could trigger an AFCI circuit breaker. Therefore, it's more practical and cost-effective to focus AFCI protection on receptacles, which are the most likely points of origin for arc faults. It's also important to understand that the National Electrical Code is a set of minimum safety standards. While the National Electrical Code only requires receptacles to be on AFCI circuits in bedrooms, it's always a good idea to go above and beyond the minimum requirements if possible. For example, homeowners could choose to install AFCI circuit breakers on all circuits in their homes for added protection. Additionally, homeowners should regularly inspect their electrical systems for any signs of damage or wear and tear. Frayed cores, loose connections, and overloaded circuits can all increase the risk of arc faults and electrical fires. Here are some additional tips for electrical safety in bedrooms. Firstly, never overload receptacles with too many appliances or devices. Overloading receptacles can cause them to overheat and create a fire hazard. Secondly, use extension cords sparingly and only when necessary. Extension cord should be heavy duty and rated for the amount of power being drawn by the devices plugged into them. Thirdly, never run extension cords under rugs or furniture. This can trap heat and cause the cords to overheat. Fourthly, replace any damaged or worn electrical cords immediately. Damaged cords can create arc faults and increase the risk of electrical fires. Fifthly, have your electrical system inspected by a qualified electrician regularly. A qualified electrician can identify potential hazards and ensure that your electrical system is up to code. Now, let's consider some common misconceptions about AFCI protection. One common misconception is that AFCI circuit breakers are the same as ground fault circuit interrupter, or AFCI, circuit breakers. While both types of circuit breakers provide electrical safety, they protect against different types of hazards. AFCI circuit breakers protect against arc faults, while GFCI circuit breakers protect against ground faults. Ground faults occur when electricity flows through an unintended path to ground, such as through a person's body. GFCI circuit breakers are typically required in wet locations like bathrooms and kitchens, where the risk of ground faults is higher. Another common misconception is that AFCI circuit breakers are foolproof and will prevent all electrical fires. While AFCI circuit breakers are very effective at detecting arc faults, they are not a substitute for good electrical safety practices. Homeowners should still take precautions to prevent electrical fires, such as avoiding overloading circuits and replacing damaged cords. It's also important to note that AFCI circuit breakers can sometimes nuisance trip, meaning that they trip the circuit even when there is no actual arc fault. Nuisance tripping can be caused by a variety of factors, such as electrical noise in the circuit or a faulty appliance. If an AFCI circuit breaker trips frequently, it's important to investigate the cause of the tripping and take steps to resolve the issue. This may involve replacing a faulty appliance or having the electrical system inspected by a qualified electrician. In conclusion, the correct interpretation of National Electrical Code 210.12 is that only receptacles are required to be in the AFCI circuit in a bedroom. Switches and junction boxes do not qualify as outlets under the National Electrical Code definition and therefore do not need to be on AFCI circuits. It's important to understand the definition of an outlet and the purpose of AFCI protection to apply the National Electrical Code requirements correctly and ensure electrical safety. By following these guidelines and taking precautions, you can help prevent electrical fires and keep your home safe.